right, welcome back to Stories from the Dirt. Today, my co-host is Lizzie. Hi, Liz.
Hello.
And we have Laura Moore and Holly Casey from Team Heading and Distance. Good morning, ladies.
Good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so Heading and Distance is your official name, but let's get into your unofficial name. What is that?
Go ahead, Holly.
No, you go ahead. It's you create. Your family created it.
My daughter kept up with all of our videos and things for last year, and we had a text stream going for the family. And Katie Kunkel, in interviewing us one day before we started out, called us the Badass Grandmas. So we became the Badass Grandmas. And when my family picked up on that, my son-in-law said, "Oh, shall we call them the Bags?" And so it kind of became our official name. And then when we were with you out in Glamis, that's when it kind of stuck. So we became the Bags after that.
Excellent. I like it. I told my husband, I was like, yeah, I have a podcast with the Bags. And he's like, the what? I was like, the Badass Grandmas. And he was like, do they know you call them that? I was like, oh, yes.
I told my son-in-law I didn't know whether to be offended, but I think I loved it. So we've sort of leaned into it. We like it very much.
Awesome. Glad to hear it. So you guys have done the Rebelle how many times together?
Just once.
Just once. Okay, last year was your first year. I didn't realize that. Nice. But individually, how many times have you guys done it?
I've done it 5 times with 5 different partners.
Okay.
I've only done it twice.
Okay.
So I'm looking forward to having Holly as a partner next year for this fall. So that's going to be awesome. And I feel very privileged that I'm the first one that she's had 2 years in a row. So I feel like that's an accomplishment.
Yeah, the grind, Holly, of getting a new partner every year, and that usually means a new vehicle every year. It's a lot, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, wonderful breadth of experiences, right, with 5 different people. But I'm so looking forward to competing with Laura as a repeat. So you're right. There's the speed dating is over, and we know each other really well under the stress of competition. And I've trained by far more with Laura than I've trained with any other partner.
Oh, nice.
All wonderful experiences, but it is different going in with a repeat partner.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because you ladies have been friends for several years now, like prior to competing together.
Yes, we met training through the Rebelle. I was training with other partners. Laura graciously has a command center that we use as our house and picks me up from the airport. The first time I met her, she was picking me up at the airport. It took me to her house.
That's amazing.
Strange days.
It's just been great fun to have the ability to meet with Holly and train together. I mean, even before we did the Rebelle last year, we had trained probably, would you say, enough to have done a full rally, Holly?
Easily, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, certainly it's different going in with the pressures of the rally. It's a little bit different than training, but just to have that time together to really sort of get to know each other and to learn when I need to tell Holly to drink or to eat, or she needs to tell me something like that, or I'm driving too fast and she has to tell me, no, wait, stop, I need to navigate, that sort of thing. So.
Yeah, it's good. Familiarity is good for sure.
Right.
I'm excited for you guys. So if you don't mind, may I ask your ages? Because you guys are definitely a role model for a lot of us. We want to be like you when we grow up, if I may.
Well, that's interesting you say that, because I always look at these younger women and they're so accomplished, and I think, wow, I want to be like them when I grow up. So Anyway, I will be 78 when we compete this fall.
And I'll be 62.
Amazing. We got 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s. This is amazing.
I love it.
Yeah, while we were waiting for you, Laura Holly was talking about how the Rebelle is just accepting, like everybody sits at the same table. And Liz and I have talked about this before, and this is just another demonstration that, you know, we're all different ages, but out there doing the same things and respecting one another just the same and being inspired by each other. So I think that's pretty amazing.
It is an amazing event to bring so many women together with such different backgrounds and experiences and ages. I'm always a little bit surprised when, well, Avis, for you and Lizzie, I think, oh my goodness, these could be my daughters, So it's really, I love being accepted for who I am and not looked at differently because I'm older than everyone else or anyone else. And so I really love that about the rally.
Yeah, I mean, I at Glamis learned of your age, both of you, and I would have never guessed. I mean, because it doesn't matter to me. I don't spend a lot of time thinking about it, but then when you do stop and think about it, I mean, it's pretty amazing that you're out there doing that. I mean, it's amazing that we're all out there doing it because it's draining, right?
Yes.
And then so like every year just adds more challenge to it. So,
well, Holly is an awesome partner to have because she's very strong and physically she probably pulls the most weight of our team. So that's just, she's great to have as a partner for that reason. But otherwise, Holly's great simply because she's a good navigator. And it's just awesome to be in the car with her.
What I find absolutely awe-inspiring of Holly is she can remember every checkpoint from every year that she's ever been to. And I don't know how you do that, Holly. What is your secret to that memory?
It's a sickness. I love maps. And as the navigator, I spend so much time looking at them. And after I get home, I look at it again and I replay the entire rally on YB tracking and I look at every checkpoint. And you realize over time that we do go through the same areas. We might enter from a different direction or clip a different corner, but that entire route just comes to life in my head. And the ones I remember the most are the ones I missed. And I just agonize over those. They're a PTSD for all those missed ones, especially in the Silver Peak area. But I think I've just always loved maps. And so there's just a photograph of that map in my head as I all year long, as I rally and as I look at the maps again.
It's truly impressive.
Thank you. I would tell my advice to rebels is to work on your inner compass, work on the ability to kind of always have an idea where north, south, east, west is. Mm-hmm. And that'll help you understand maps and it'll help you remember where you are. And
yeah. Liz is really good with that too.
I was working on that a lot last year, and then just like, that like knowing where you are, what direction. And then now I'm working on coordinating it with all of the numbers from the compass. So that as Avis is like, oh, we need to be like 178 or something, like I know what that is versus just knowing north, south, east, west kind of thing. And I love you had mentioned at the end of last year to go back and watch your YB tracker, Holly. And I went back like within, I think 2 days, I was like, every day I was watching a different day. And I could, as I was watching our dot, I could totally each checkpoint remember kind of like where we were and what we were doing. And it like took me back into those moments. And then the ones that we missed, or we were like, it was like, dang, we weren't even close to that one. And it was like, so that has stuck with me, and that was an amazing thing to like do afterwards. So I appreciated that advice a lot.
Oh, you're welcome. I think part of it might be is I come from the age of if you wanted to go somewhere, you had to have a map, and long before the internet and Google Maps and all the different navigation systems that we have, all the apps that are fantastic to get us out and about. But in the old days, if you wanted to go somewhere, you had to find a map, and our glove boxes were full of maps. So it's a love of maps from going back for a very long way.
Yeah, we can remember those days where you had to unfold those maps in the car, and they were just like taking up the whole windshield, and then you had to figure out how to get them folded back. Yeah, so maps are a good thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Folding the map harder or easier than those newfangled tents with the that pop
I
up?
think I'd rather fold a map than one of those tents.
I'm with you on that right now.
Yeah.
I've been practicing with Avis's, and I'm struggling every time.
I know. I tend to get it tends to get me sort of caught up in it. I don't know, but I end up with it wrapped around my arm or leg or something, when it's doing that. So, yeah.
So I heard through the grapevine that you guys might be changing vehicles this year.
We are.
Oh, and
We had last year, I had to get a new vehicle like a week before Holly showed up for us to go to the rally. My other one developed sort of an electrical glitch that they just couldn't figure out. So we ended up in a vehicle that neither one of us were familiar with, really. So it was kind of fun. And then this year we are starting in a new vehicle. So we're going to be in a 392 this year.
woo.
Yeah.
And I hear it's race car red.
It is Firecracker Red. We were just with it in Moab this last weekend and kind of halfway named it Firecracker. So
Nice.
yeah. I love it.
Nice.
It's an awesome vehicle.
Well, I think the number of people lining up to watch the bags in the hot rod it's a long line. I can't wait. I mean, Laura, you drive like a bat out of hell, if I might say. Anyways, so with all that power under that throttle pedal, it's going to be exciting.
Well, I am a little worried about keeping my speed slow on the enduros. Those slow speeds are hard anyway, so I'm going to have to watch my throttle on that. But yeah, I like to keep a quick pace. Holly likes a quick pace, and so I try to do my best.
Yeah. You guys do amazing. So last year when you got together, did you set a goal or were you just like, let's just see what happens? How do you guys handle that?
We've talked about our goals many times, open to if they need to change or not. And I think our goals are exactly the same at this point. We just talked about it a couple of days ago in Moab to have fun and improve our skills.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
I would
you guys
agree.
play-
Yeah, I think that's an excellent goal, and I think if we were to go beyond that for maybe a specific kind of thing, I think a good day for us would be. You can speak to this, Holly, too. A day where we feel like we have just left everything out there, and we didn't get any wide misses.
Yeah, that's always a good day.
Yeah.
No wide misses.
So I guess kind of following in on that, the goals of like having fun and improving your skills and stuff. Do you feel like each year new things open up to you as skills that you want to improve on? Or because I mean the rally format changes a little bit every year, but it's basically the same thing. So what has been, I guess the question is more of like, what has it been each year that it's like, are there new things and areas that you're like epiphany moments of like, oh my gosh, like this is where I've been going wrong, or this is, something I now need to work on? Or is it just kind of compounds every year, like just little by little?
For me, little by little, the first 2 years, I thought both years were one and done. I did the best I could. So it wasn't really until 21 that I started realizing, that I could be doing this every year, and every year I need to improve on the things I did the year before, buy new tools, get more precise. I think what's changed most for me is how I prepare my maps. And it was mostly learning from mistakes. So there was one time I had to ping because I had my map upside down, and it took me a while to figure out. So now I mark all the edges of my map which way is north. One year I was using the wrong scale ruler. So on my map on the edges, I write which scale all the way around the perimeter. And in the middle of the map, I fill in the lat long coordinates so that if my map is folded strangely, I have those lat longs right there in the middle of the map. And I take very good care of my maps. Bring tape in case I rip them. Those maps are keys, and I'm a firm believer in doing as much preparation on the map beforehand. The night before, not wait till the morning of. Do everything you can the day before, and it's just understanding lat long and heading and distance and plotters, understanding all the strengths of those tools. And that takes time and experience. And take really good care of your maps. I fold mine in quarters, and they're in plastic bags so they don't get wet. And
So you keep them in the car in the plastic bags?
yeah, I in a flat folder so they can't get creased or crumpled, and in plastic so that just in case it's raining or my water spills or our water jug leaks or those maps and that CP guide are the most important thing you have, and just take as good of care of them as you can.
Yeah, my first year, my first year was 2022, and they gave us all the maps at the beginning. And they were in a roll with rubber bands, and I just every morning would get in and chuck them in the back. Fortunately, nothing ever happened to them, but there was an incident of a spilled beverage several days later, and I was like, okay, I need a new plan next year.
I think as the driver, as far as skills go, you got to have a lot of seat time in your vehicle and know your vehicle. But one of the things I found from when I first competed in 2020 and then competing with Holly last year was in 2020, I think I took too much stuff. I took a lot of stuff that I really didn't need to have with me, thinking, if something breaks down, I want to have this. If this happens, I want to have this. But I feel like if the vehicle itself is adequately prepared before we get to the rally, then some of those things I'm not going to need. And honestly, if something untoward happens that I can't fix with a wrench and a screwdriver, I've got to go in anyway, to the mechanic area. So I take just enough stuff that if there's something I can repair on the road, I can do that, or repair enough that we can limp back to base camp and then take care of it there. So I'm not, I'm really trying to pare down, and right now I'm thinking, okay, how can I rearrange the back of the vehicle a little better, because I know what Holly needs now, because we've competed together before. So how can I arrange the vehicle and not only in the cabin area where she's going to be sitting, but just in the back where we're carrying all our junk. That makes it easy for us to get to, and easy for her to operate in the cabin area. So those are the kinds of things I'm thinking about as the driver, as far as skills go in getting ready for the rally. But I think for me, one of the most important thing, maybe important is not the best word, but best things that have come out of the rally is to know myself a little bit better and be more comfortable with failure, I guess. Nobody likes to fail, and nobody likes to feel inadequate. But that's going to happen on the rally, and I'm definitely one that is, I'm fairly competitive, and I don't like to make mistakes and those kinds of things. And, I'm sort of old and set in my ways. But the rally has really taught me, you can learn new things about yourself, and you can always improve on some of those things that that you realize need improvement, and that's what I really treasure about the rally itself. Not only do you get to do fun things and be adventurous and that kind of stuff, but you get to learn about yourself and make yourself better as a person.
Yeah, absolutely. So what was your lifestyle before finding the rally, and how did you come to find the rally?
Well, I came to, in my 20s and 30s, back, I had an adventure buddy, and we would hike and camp in Colorado. She had an old CJ that we would take out on trails. It was just, we had to get out and lock the hubcaps, to put it in for. It was a manual, and we just had a lot of fun in that Jeep. So it's not that I am particularly new to this kind of thing. I'm new to navigating and knowing how to do those things, and being precise with driving on the enduro. So that was all a new thing to me. And by the time I found out about the rally, we didn't find out about it really. I didn't find out about it until we had retired here in Arizona, and I wanted to get a Jeep, but it had been a long time since I had camped or done any of that kind of stuff. So when I found out about the rally and had the Jeep, well, I got the Jeep, and it was, it was a Rubicon. It had blockers and sway bar and all these things that we didn't have on the old CJ. So I made scheduled time with Barlow Adventures to learn about this new vehicle that I had, and that's how I discovered the rally. And
Okay.
when I went to the website and looked at it, I thought, wow, that just sounds awesome. And I showed it to my husband, and I said, what do you think about this? And he said, oh, I think this is something you should do. So that was great from the very beginning. So I really took it baby steps. I did a training with Nina in the sand and thought, it's been 20 years since I've camped. Can I even do this? So it was 3 days, and I thought, well, if you can do most anything in 3 days. So we got through that, and that was good. And then I did an Emily training, and I was able to do that. So that worked, and I thought, okay, let's see how this would work out. So that's kind of how I came to it. So it wasn't like my life was just, there was some, adventure in it. And I've always liked that kind of thing. And so that's how I came to it.
Nice. Holly?
I have a motto: live life outside. And my whole life, I've hunting and mountain biking and snow skiing and water skiing and travel and landscaping. And I just love to be outside. And I have another motto: say yes, always say yes. So in 2018, my son and his girlfriend found a 1969 Jeep Wagoneer behind a barn. It had been abandoned. It was full of rats, and the goats were climbing all over it. And Courtney heard about the rally, and she wanted to compete, and she asked me if I would. And I didn't even know anything about it. I said, yes. What do I have to do? And she says, well, it's all analog. we'll use maps and compasses to find our way. And I said, perfect. I love maps. And the focus for them was to get that Wagoneer out of behind the barn and to fix it up. And so, new motor, new suspension, interior roll cage. It was really modified for rock crawling, bucket seats, 5-point harnesses. It was a beautiful vehicle. It was the first one that competed in Emily's designation of the 40-30 Club.
Okay.
I think there's only been 2 vehicles that have competed in 40-30. And so we did a little bit of training, but it was trial by fire. We showed up and just worked together and competed, and I had a great time. She and my son got married, and they became rally staff. And she hung up her rally keys, and they sold the vehicle. And so I thought, one and done. That was phenomenal. At the very last minute in 2019, Emily Miller called and said, we lost a navigator on a team. Would you want to compete? And sure, that would be wonderful. I knew of the person, didn't know her very well, but, all rebels are phenomenal and friendly. I ordered a compass, went to Italy for 10 days, came home for 3 days, washed some clothes, and started the rally. And so we didn't really have we didn't have any time together to train. We did the best we could, had a great time. She hung up her rally keys. I thought I was done, one and done again. And then in 2020, I watched every single kilometer on YB Tracking and thought, why am I not out there? I should be there. So in 21, I wanted to find a partner. Well, I hadn't developed any kind of a Rebel network of friends yet. I didn't know even where to start to find a partner. So I submitted my name to the Rebel Rally, and they put me on a short spreadsheet. And through there, I found someone who was looking for a navigator. And I knew of her and called her and asked her if she would want to be partners. And she said yes. And so then I did my first training, for informal trainings with her group of friends. And that's how I developed my Rebel network. A wonderful group of ladies. Had a great time in 21. She hung up her rally keys. And so once again, I thought, I was done. But through this group of friends, I was paired up with another person. And, if any Rebel says, oh, you two would be great partners, I'm all in. And we had a great experience, and then she hung up her rally keys.
Are you getting a complex?
And through the training in 21 and again in 22, I met Laura. And so Laura Moore, that would be fabulous. So called her, and Laura is so rock solid and calm and methodical. I knew we would be really good partners. And so we had a great time in 23, and now fortunate enough to be able to do it again with her. For a brief moment after 23, I thought it was done. And then I think it was just a reaction to how crazy my life was in 23. So a few months after the rally, I called Laura and said, is it too late? Could we please be partners in 24? And luckily for me, she said yes.
Nice. So is it safe to say you guys are both rally addicts?
There is a strong magnetic pull for me to compete in the rally. There is no other game like it. There's no other event like it. And I have never found a group of such observant, curious women. And so it's that group of friends that I've created, including the 3 of you, that keeps bringing me back. If I didn't have that group of friends that I loved conversing with and competing with, I don't know that I would come back. If I was a stranger to everybody. It is a wonderful event. And Emily Miller has done just a fantastic job with the whole thing. Every year it gets better.
Agreed.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So obviously you guys enjoy it. You're getting personal growth and gain out of it. The big question is, has it changed your life?
Okay, so not in the same way that getting married or having children has changed my life.
Okay.
The rally has changed my life. It's much like going to college, starting my own business. I'd lived in the same city for 40 years, and I recently moved 1,200 miles away from California to Idaho. And the Rebel Rally, all of those are up there, and they, significantly have changed my life.
Yeah. Laura?
Yes, I think so. I mean, I think it's changed. It's given me a like-minded community of women that I never had before, and uh, that has been an enriching thing for my life. So in that way, yes, it has. I mean, do I still go about my daily stuff? Yeah, there's that. So I don't know that it's changed it in that kind of way where it's leading me in a completely different direction or given me inspiration to do a completely different kind of career or any of those kinds of things that can be life changing. But yes, it has definitely moved me in ways that have been so enriching for me as an individual that and it's given me a group of people and a group of women who are just life enriching. I don't know how to express it other than just being so completely enriching to your life. So in that way, it has been life changing. Yes, I love it. I love the women. I love the competition. I love being outside in these areas where Emily takes us. Sometimes I have to poke Holly and say, Holly, get out of your map. Look, this is beautiful out here. Look at this. Can you believe this? Look at that flower by the road. Those kinds of things. So, yeah, I absolutely love it. It is addictive. Some days on the rally, I feel every one of those 77 years. Other days, I just feel like I'm 20 again. It's just awesome.
Yeah, I agree. The community is definitely amazing and part of the reason that I love it so much. Um,
And after competing for a couple of years, it seems like, I know after 2020, there were several times when some of the women would get together for trainings, and that's how I met Holly and that sort of thing. But it's become a more regular part of our lives instead of just showing up for the rally. And that's where we get to see the people. We're getting together more often. We're communicating more than I think. That's just really fantastic.
yeah. So if you gather up all of your life experience, rally included, and you have the opportunity to tell your 18-year-old self something, what is that advice?
Never be afraid to try something new.
Excellent. Yeah. I like to say I'll say yes at least once.
Yeah.
Say yes. Always say yes.
Yeah.
As
Although I did recently say no to a kayaking trip because I don't do water.
just wear a helmet.
It's the panic and fear that is the problem. I have to get over that. One day maybe. Do you guys use a safe word or how do you handle each other in the vehicle?
I really don't think we kind of have a safe word, but we've never had to use it. I mean, we're both fairly low key, and it's quiet in our car. We don't. I don't think we overreact to things that happen. We just sort of take things in stride. I don't know, Holly. What do you think?
I think the key is Laura and I communicate effectively before we need a safe word. We preemptively solve any kind of issues before it gets to that point. Probably life experiences has helped with that. Laura is so calm and methodical, and when I get stuck, what she gives me, I need the most is just quiet. And she's just sits there very quietly and lets me work it out. And then when I'm ready, I tell her what I figured out or what I think we should do and go over our plan with her. But so I don't anticipate needing to use our safe word because I think we'll solve the problem before it really becomes a problem.
Yeah, that's great advice. Yeah. Do you think it's like a marriage? I hear Emily talks about it like a marriage, and for me, I always feel like it's very much like a marriage. Do you think it compares?
A 10-day marriage.
Yeah. It's kind of almost a 1-year marriage, or from whenever you form your partnership, right? Because after that, you're like, okay, well, I made my decision. And then as the year goes, you learn more and more about your person, and you're like, I already made that decision before I knew that.
A marriage with separate bedrooms, right? Because Laura and I sleep in separate tents.
Okay. Yeah. The separate tents.
Well, I think the separate tent is kind of a good thing. We spend, what, Holly, 10, 11 hours in the car together all day. And both Holly and myself are people who need some space. And we're happy to give it to each other. And just to have that little brief, usually by the time you get to your tent in the evening, it's like 10 minutes and you're out. But even that is just, is enough to bring us back to the next day refreshed and ready to go. So, and I don't know, I always feel, of course, I'm a morning person more than a night person, but every morning I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get on with the day, get going.
Yeah. The days are long and exhausting. What does your evening look like? I know some people stay up and they chat and they socialize. Some people eat and go straight to their tent.
I use dinner as my social hour. Really, for me, dinner is the only time I have to really just chit chat and relax and hear the stories. And I try to sit with new people every evening, get to know a new group, different table. I would recommend that to rookies. Sit with a different group every night. I've met some wonderful people that way. But that 1 or 2 hours at dinner time, that's it for relaxation. The rest is all business. I'll work on my maps if I have work to do, my homework before bed, and then try to get to bed as early as possible.
I would agree with that. Yeah, having dinner with different people is really a nice thing to be able to get to know folks. And but then we come in, and when the day is done, we take care of our water, we take care of the vehicle, we do what needs to be done, and then we're ready to eat and socialize and go to bed, pretty much. Yeah.
So, in your years on the rally, what's been like your highest moment, or like, yeah, what brought you the most joy?
Nailing blacks.
So competitive.
And the beautiful, unbelievable scenery that Emily has shown us that I probably wouldn't have seen any other way.
I would agree with that. The scenery is just unbelievable. I want to gather my family together and take them on some of these roads that Emily has taken us, so that they can see some of these beautiful places in the West. But I think a high moment for me as a driver is, sometimes Emily will give us driving challenges, and I really love those. So that's always a high point to see a day. Oh, there's going to be a driving challenge today, and and to be able to do that. But I think the most fun for me is being in the car with Holly and watching her, how she works. You can see the wheels turning on how she's figuring out some of these things, and she looks out the window and she looks at the map, and she looks out another window and she looks at the map, and she does a little thing with her ruler, and then she puts it down and she said, I think we're here. I think we should click. Do you think we should click? And if she's gone through all that, yeah, I think we should click. And when we click and we get that, and the smile that comes on Holly's face, that is so much fun just to watch her work, watch her go through the process, and then nail it. It's just fun. I don't know. It's just so much fun to watch her do that. I love it.
Yeah.
And of course,
That's
another
awesome.
high point is there are two that I can mention. One is when you see the blue flag and you know it's yours. That's always a high point. And the other is when you haven't seen anybody for a while and you sort of look out across the way and you see those little plumes of dust out and you say, "Oh, okay, we're close somewhere. There are my people out there." So that's always a relief to see those plumes of dust out in the distance.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah. Those are the amazing moments for sure.
Yeah.
No, and I had a couple where we're driving for a while, and it's like I'm pretty sure we know where we're going, but like we haven't seen anyone in a long time, and like crested over through this canyon, and then saw a couple of us like, oh, good, we're not totally the wrong direction. Like this,
Exactly.
hey, let's go.
Yeah. Those are little high moments that just make your day better.
All right. So, in contrast, what's the lowest moment you've had on the rally?
Mine is on our 6th day. I remember it vividly, and I got stuck in the sand. That was my lowest moment. It was hot. We were exhausted. We had to dig the belly out of the vehicle, and it took us a long time. It was a total driving error, and I think that was my absolutely lowest point.
I would agree with Laura because it was Laura was really upset about it, and it just happens. It wasn't her fault. We didn't do anything wrong. It was hard watching Laura be just so devastated by that because it was the only mistake she made, right? Holly's made 100 mistakes. That is, the navigator makes the majority of the mistakes. And I think it's extra hard on the drivers when they feel like they've made a mistake because they do so much all day long to keep that vehicle going.
Yeah. And the sand really is unforgiving. I mean, 1 minute you're fine, the next minute you're stuck, and then the next 40 minutes you're in the sun digging with shovels, and it's no fun.
So my advice to rookies, you never know what's going to happen 5 minutes from now. So spend your whole day staying hydrated and eating plenty of food so that when or if something does happen, you are ready to tackle it. Don't get behind on the hydration.
Yeah.
And for Laura and I, when that happened, I had just gotten done drinking 2 gallons of water, and I could have dug forever.
Wow, 2 gallons.
I'm exaggerating.
Okay.
I stay fully hydrated all day.
Yeah.
And about every 10 minutes, I'm telling Laura I need to stop and pee, please.
Yeah. Gosh, the peeing, it takes up so much of your day, doesn't it? If I could just figure out how to do that less, I would have more time.
Well, and that's the dilemma, isn't it? Because you have to be hydrated and you have to drink, but you don't want to do that because you're going to have to stop and pee, and you don't want to take that time to do it. So it really, yeah.
And if we could get on like synchronized peeing too.
Exactly.
Yeah. I always evaluate. If my driver needs to pee, I'm like, can I pee now? Probably. I should just do it. So did you guys have any like mentors coming up into your rookie years or through the years?
My rookie year, no, it was trial by fire. We just jumped in and did it with maybe an hour or 2 or 3 of training near where we lived. It was when my 21 partner introduced me to the group of rebels that are still a rock solid core group of rebels. And I met Chris Benzie.
Mm.
Chris Benzie has been phenomenal in teaching me new skills.
Well, I was just going to say, the trainings that we do. I mean, I did a formal training with Emily early on, and just to be able to talk, Laura Wanless was there, Chris Benzie was there, of course, Emily was there, Chrissy Beavis, just to observe those women and watch them has been phenomenal. And Nina has been particularly helpful to me in my driving. Mandy and Alex have been helpful in, answering any questions that I might have about driving in the sand. All of those kinds of things. Chris Benzie and Laura Wanless have been helpful, not just in driving, but in just navigating the intricacies of the rally. And so, I mean, you could almost point to anyone that you've ever been on any kind of training with, because you learn from everyone. It seems like someone always has some new tip or something, that you can benefit from. So I just, the big ones like Wanless and Benzie and Nina and Emily, those are the ones that really, have impacted me over time, and Mandy and Alex. And then just the people that you run into. I mean, Avis, we were talking out there and you were telling me stuff, and, I was filing it all away, and, watching you drive, and Lizzie, watching her drive. We were in the sand, and, just seeing her navigate that big old truck over over those things. That I just thought, wow, this is, I'm inspired by this. So maybe not so much in a mentorship kind of way, but in an inspirational kind of way. Just looking at these people and being able to benefit from being around them.
Yeah. Definitely inspiration abounds in the Rebel crew for sure.
Yeah.
I've only had one formal training, and that was with Nina in Glamis a couple months ago. And it made me realize that I don't know what I don't know, and that I would benefit from more professional trainings. And so Laura and I are going and doing a Rebel U later this summer.
Okay.
And that would be an advice to rookies: is practice as much as you can with your partner and on your own and with groups of friends, but also do some formal trainings, because after 5 rallies, I still have a lot to learn, I realized.
Yeah. I think that's what I enjoy about the rally, is that the potential for learning is just bottomless.
It is, and you forget so much. Well, at least I forget. And the trainings are helpful to remind you of those things that you have forgotten, and they're so beneficial to do them together. I'm looking forward to this time with Holly. We're a little disappointed we couldn't do the training with the trials, but I'm going to be out of town, and it just wasn't one of those kind of things that we could work out. But we're looking forward to the time in August with Emily's training.
Yeah, the trials last year was really revolutionary. When I saw that hit the books, my teammate last year was a rookie, and Liz and Nat were rookies. And I said to them, I was like, put this one on your list, because the experience that you get with like the real live action experience with the yellow brick and the flags, and because I remember my rookie year seeing my very first flag out in the wild, I was like, oh my God. And, this little bit of panic and flutter. And so I think the trials is just really good, especially for rookies, to just sort of get that out of your system.
Yeah, and that prologue day is it's a great day to get everybody's jitters out. And
Yeah.
the trials are just one more thing on top of that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
trials was amazing. I mean, that was actually Nat and my like first real training together as rookies, and um, I would say that like we didn't really understand how to train together until we went to that one, and then all of a sudden it was like, oh, we get it. Okay, now we understand how to be in the car together. Now we understand what to work on, and like how to do work on the enduros and practice and stuff. So that really gave us a good footing to like then work for the next 4 months to hone our skills together. So, and then we did Nina's sand dunes training, Glamis training, like right before the rally last year, because we weren't partners when she had her early one, so we couldn't do the early one. So that was the only one we were able to go to, which thank goodness. Like her sand dune training is amazing. So I was so inspired by watching everyone else out there too. It was like, I want to drive like all of them.
Yeah. The driving in the sand, I'm not the primary driver, obviously, but after 2 years, I was like, this is ridiculous. I need to learn how to do this like as just a general life skill. So it's pretty amazing what you can learn in a training. What is your favorite snack in the vehicle?
I like almonds. Not messy, full of protein. And this year, Laura, I'm bringing peanut M&Ms.
Oh, good. I do like peanut M&Ms. I always try to pick up a little bag of Fritos. It's that nice salty thing, and if we're going to have peanut M&Ms, we're going to have kind of sweet and salty. So, yeah, I like that kind of thing. Cheez-Its, that's always a good thing to
Yeah.
munch on.
Liz always laughs at me because I call myself a professional moocher. I like to, like Holly has pointed out, we're all very observant, curious women, and I'll be like, "Oh, what are you eating?" Yeah, I'll have
May I
some
see
of
that?
that. And then she's like, and they're like, "What are you trading?" I have my raw unsalted almonds. Would you like some? And they're like, "No."
Or your celery or your bell peppers that you've been passing off on me. I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm bringing peanut and M&Ms too. That sounds so good. I've heard like 2 other people say that, and I was like, yeah, why have I not thought of peanut M&Ms? Like,
Yeah, the peanut M&Ms or the peanut butter M&Ms.
yes,
Or
those
they
are
have
good too.
caramel M&Ms. I mean, the M&M possibilities are endless.
They are.
The caramels are hard when it's cold though, so
Yeah,
just fair
that's
warning.
good. Yeah, I like
When
it.
we come across you en route, we'll trade snacks.
Perfect.
Perfect.
I will if I'm really desperate for a treat that's not as healthy as what I have. I will come up to your window and be like, "Hey, you guys, got any good snacks in there?" I'm telling you, I'm like a professional snack moocher.
And then I'll have to trade you my snacks for her because I'll have the good ones.
Yes.
The food on the rally is phenomenal. The breakfasts and the dinners that are provided, they are so good, healthy and wholesome, and every meal's different. You're not eating the same thing every night, and it's a wide variety. I love the food on the rally. And then lunchtime, it's just a free for all. It's whatever you can get down your mouth.
Yeah. That they provide us with those Mountain House meals, and I'm like, that nobody's stopping for that. Although some people like Liz are smart enough to put the water in the morning, and so when you're ready for it, like it's already ready. I have not ever been that smart.
I did that a couple of times and it was good. I didn't do it every day, but there was like 2 or 3 that I did that. And so by lunchtime, I did one for me and one for Nat. And so I just like hand them to her. So
Yeah.
And that works.
yeah, I mean they were still warm because they're in those little foil, like you do the hot water and they're in the little foil
Right.
packets. So by like noon or 1, they were still warm and edible. I did I leaned towards the pasta primavera or like the more pasta-y ones, and those still seemed okay by the afternoon. There was one other one we tried that was not, neither of us I think ate. But it might have been a breakfast one, like an oatmeal or something. That was
Yeah.
a like bad
That
choice.
didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah,
It probably had raisins in it.
Yeah.
Raisins
yeah,
are not good.
something.
So the pasta ones work, and maybe the other ones like breakfast eggs and that sort of thing don't.
Yeah, like I bet the lasagna one, I would try that. That would probably be good still. Um,
Yeah.
like by midday.
Chili mac and those kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, ladies, any parting advice before we end our session here?
Have fun.
Or have fun. Always say yes, right?
Always say yes. Don't take yourself too seriously. It's a phenomenal game, and yeah, you've paid a lot of money and you've invested a lot of time to play it. Relax and enjoy it.
Yeah. And don't forget
Yeah.
to look out the windshield.
That'd be
No.
Liz's job to remind me.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, there's so many epic views and just beautiful, beautiful scenery that Emily comes
Yeah.
up with.
Exactly. Well, ladies, Laura, Holly, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I'm sure everybody's going to appreciate all of your wisdom and advice, and we look forward to seeing you on the starting line in that hot rod red Jeep.
Looking forward to being there. It's nice to visit with you, Avis and Lizzie. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.